Imagine for a moment that you are standing on the deck of a ship in the middle of the North Pacific Ocean. It is the summer of 1974. Beneath your feet is a vessel unlike anything the world has ever seen, a massive, floating industrial fortress. But the real story isn't about the ship. It is about what is dangling beneath it, hanging by a pipe string that stretches 3 miles down into the crushing blackness of the abyss. At the end of that pipe, a giant mechanical claw is grappling with the wreckage of a Soviet submarine. Inside that wreckage are nuclear missiles, code books, and the secrets of a superpower enemy. This isn't the plot of a Tom Clancy novel or a James Bond movie. This is Project Azorian, the most complex, expensive, and audacious intelligence operation of the Cold War. And for decades, the government denied it ever happened. To understand how we got to this moment in the Pacific, we have to go back 6 years to 1968. This was a year of global turmoil, but one of the most significant events happened silently beneath the waves. The K-129, a Soviet Gulf II-class ballistic missile submarine, vanished. It was on a routine patrol when it missed 2 consecutive radio check-ins. The Soviet Navy panicked. They launched a massive search flotilla. Aircraft, surface ships, and submarines combed the Pacific for weeks. But the ocean is vast and unforgiving. They found nothing. Eventually, the Soviets assumed the sub and its crew of 98 men were lost to the sea, and they returned to port. But the Americans were watching. The U.S. Navy had a secret weapon, a network of underwater hydrophones known as SOSUS, designed to track Soviet movement. Reviewing the acoustic data, American analysts found a specific, catastrophic sound event, an explosion and an implosion, pinpointing a location almost 1,600 miles northwest of Hawaii. While the Soviets gave up, the U.S. Navy sent the USS Halibut, a special operations submarine, to the site. The Halibut towed a remote-controlled camera sled miles deep into the dark water. After weeks of searching, they found it. There, resting on the ocean floor at 16,500 feet, lay the K-129. The discovery was a goldmine. The submarine was believed to be relatively intact. If the United States could recover it, they wouldn't just get a look at Soviet nuclear technology. They might recover cryptographic machines and codebooks. It would be the ultimate intelligence coup, allowing the U.S. to read Soviet naval communications in real time. But there was a problem. A massive problem. The wreck was deeper than the Titanic. At 16,500 feet, the pressure is roughly 7,000 pounds per square inch. No technology existed to lift a 2,000-ton steel hulk from that depth. The Navy engineers looked at the problem and essentially said it was impossible. Enter the Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA didn't care about what was considered impossible. They turned to the engineers at Glomar Marine, a pioneer in deep-sea drilling. The proposed solution was staggering. They would build a ship with a giant moon pool in its center. This ship would lower a massive claw on a string of heavy pipe, grab the submarine, and pull it up into the ship's belly, hidden from the spy satellites orbiting overhead. But you can't just build a giant, strange-looking ship in the middle of the Cold War without raising eyebrows. The CIA needed a cover story, a lie so big and so detailed that no one would question it. They needed a frontman who was wealthy, eccentric, and known for secretive projects. They needed Howard Hughes. The reclusive billionaire agreed to lend his name to the project. The cover story was that Hughes's company was building a ship to mine manganese nodules from the ocean floor. These potato-sized rocks are rich in minerals, and suddenly, the media was flooded with stories about the potential fortune of deep-sea mining. It was a brilliant distraction. The ship was named the Hughes Glomar Explorer. While the public marveled at Hughes's latest business venture, the CIA was pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into the ship's construction. It was an engineering marvel, equipped with a derrick tower and a heavy-lift pipe string capable of supporting millions of pounds. Below decks, hidden from view, was the capture vehicle, a massive mechanical claw nicknamed Clementine. By 1974, the Glomar Explorer was ready. It sailed to the target site in the Pacific. The crew faced incredible challenges. They were operating in rough seas, trying to lower a pipe string 3 miles down and position a claw with pinpoint accuracy over a specific target, all while fighting ocean currents and the risk of mechanical failure. Tension was high. Soviet spy ships were in the area. A Soviet tug kept circling the Glomar Explorer, watching. The Americans had to maintain their cover, pretending to mine the ocean floor while actually engaging in the greatest grave robbery in history. They even piled junk on the deck to make it look like mining equipment to the Soviet helicopters buzzing overhead. Finally, the capture vehicle reached the bottom. The operators in the control room, watching grainy video feeds, maneuvered the claw. The giant steel fingers of Clementine dug into the seabed around the K-129. They engaged the hydraulics. The grip held. Slowly, agonizingly, the winch began to turn. The 2,000-ton prize lifted off the ocean floor. For days, they hauled the submarine up, pipe section by pipe section. They were inching closer to success. They had brought the wreckage up nearly 9,000 feet. They were halfway home. The intelligence community held its breath. Then disaster struck. As the submarine was being lifted through the water column, the structural integrity of the Soviet vessel failed. The claws were holding, but the submarine itself was brittle from the initial explosion and years of corrosion. With a shudder that shook the heavy pipes, the K-129 broke apart. The rear 2/3 of the submarine, the section containing the ballistic missiles and the code room, slipped free from the claw. It tumbled back down into the abyss, slamming into the ocean floor and shattering. The crew of the Glomar Explorer watched in horror on their monitors. They were left with only the forward section of the submarine, roughly 38 feet of twisted metal. They had no choice but to continue the lift. They hauled the remaining piece into the moon pool and closed the doors. When they examined what they had caught, the disappointment was palpable. The primary targets, the missiles and the cryptographic gear, were gone, lying at the bottom of the sea. However, the mission wasn't a total failure. They recovered 2 nuclear torpedoes, various technical manuals, and most tragically, the bodies of 6 Soviet submariners. In a remarkable display of respect and military tradition, the CIA gave the Soviet sailors a formal burial at sea. They conducted a service on the deck of the Glomar Explorer, playing the Soviet national anthem and reading the service in both English and Russian, before committing the bodies to the deep. They filmed the ceremony, a classified record of a secret funeral for an enemy combatant. The CIA wanted to go back. They began planning a second mission to retrieve the rest of the sub. But secrecy is fragile. In 1975, armed burglars broke into Howard Hughes' offices in Los Angeles, stealing documents that linked Hughes to the CIA and the Glomar Explorer. The story began to leak. Investigative journalist Seymour Hersh caught wind of it. The CIA director, William Colby, personally pleaded with major news organizations to kill the story, arguing that national security was at stake. For a while, the press held back. But eventually, the dam broke. The Los Angeles Times published the story. The cover was blown. The Soviet Union was furious, though privately embarrassed that they hadn't realized their sub had been stolen from right under their noses. With the secrecy gone, a second mission became politically impossible. Project Azorian was over. When journalists flooded the CIA with Freedom of Information Act requests about the project, the agency found itself in a legal bind. They couldn't confirm the operation without causing a diplomatic crisis, but they couldn't deny it because it was true. Their solution became legendary in legal and political history. The CIA issued a statement saying they could neither confirm nor deny the existence of the materials requested. This non-answer became known as the Glomar Response, a phrase still used by government agencies today to deflect inquiries. So was Project Azorian a failure? It cost roughly $800 million in 1974 money, nearly $4 billion today. They missed the codebooks. They missed the ballistic missiles. Critics called it a colossal waste of taxpayer money. But viewed through another lens, it was an unparalleled engineering triumph. In just a few years, American engineers developed technology to lift millions of pounds from depths that were previously unreachable. The technology developed for the Glomar Explorer paved the way for modern deep-sea oil drilling and oceanography. Furthermore, it sent a chilling message to the Soviet Union. No matter where you hide, no matter how deep you go, the United States has the reach, the money, and the will to find you. Today, the K-129 mostly rests where it fell, 3 miles down. The Glomar Explorer was eventually converted for deep-sea drilling and scrapped in 2015. But the story remains, a testament to the paranoia, the ambition, and the sheer mechanical madness of the Cold War. A time when a billionaire, a spy agency, and a giant claw tried to steal a submarine from the bottom of the world. Thanks for watching. If you learned anything, or if I at least entertained you today, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. The almighty algorithm decides who gets recommended my videos based on the amount of views versus likes and subscriptions. I wish I didn't have to ask, but please do consider pressing like and subscribe.